The old library stood on a lonely hill, its silhouette looming over the town like a watchful guardian, or perhaps a silent threat. It looked like a monster against the stormy sky, its spires and turrets clawing at the clouds as lightning split the darkness. Thunder cracked overhead, and rain hammered the ancient windows, each drop echoing through the empty halls like footsteps from the past. The townsfolk huddled in the shadows, whispering its name with fear, the Library of Lost Souls. They said stories came alive there, the kind that made you check under your bed and left you glancing over your shoulder long after you'd left. The librarian had vanished long ago, swallowed by the darkness, but some claimed his restless soul still haunted the shelves, guarding secrets, hating visitors, and waiting for someone foolish enough to enter. Tonight, the huge doors stood ajar, the old iron lock broken and missing, as if inviting someone in, or daring them. I stood across the street, raincoat soaked through, heart pounding so loudly I wondered if the whole town could hear it. My name is Leo. I'm not brave, not really, but my friends dared me to go inside. Their taunts echoed in my ears. "You're too scared, Leo. You'll never do it." I hated being called scared. It burned inside me more than the cold rain ever could. The wind shoved me forward, almost as if the storm itself wanted me to go. I took a deep breath, feeling my heart thunder in my chest, every muscle tense with fear and excitement. I had to prove them wrong, to prove something to myself. So, gathering every ounce of courage, I ran toward the shadow, into the unknown. I pushed the heavy door. It groaned like something alive. Cold, musty air hit me, old paper, dust, and something rotten. The door slammed shut behind me, locked, trapped. The library was a cave of shadows, shelves stretching to the ceiling, packed with ancient, titleless books. Only moonlight crept in, casting long, grasping shadows. My footsteps echoed, too loud in the silence. I flicked on my flashlight. The beam revealed blank spines and dust bunnies. A cold draft curled around my ankles. Then, a soft rustling, like pages turning. "Was someone here?" I called out, voice trembling. Only my echo answered, fading into silence. But I knew I wasn't alone. Something was watching. I crept between the towering shelves, my footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of dust that had settled over the years. The silence was heavy, broken only by the faint hum of the old building settling around me. My breath fogged in the cold, each exhale a ghostly cloud in the air. Suddenly a whisper, "Lost," brushed my ear, so close it made my skin crawl. I spun around, heart pounding, flashlight beam trembling in my grip. Nothing but shadows. Another voice, "Help me," rasped from the darkness, echoing from the far end of the aisle, as if the shelves themselves were speaking. The books seemed to shift, their spines creaking, as if alive, watching, waiting for something or someone to disturb their slumber. I stumbled backward, bumping into a table. A heavy book slid off the edge and thudded to the floor, the sound echoing through the empty library like a warning. Its cover was black leather, cold as ice beneath my fingertips, sending a chill up my arm as I reached for it. The moment I touched it, a distant scream echoed from deep inside the book, as if a soul was trapped within its pages. I dropped it in horror. When it fell open, the pages were blank, empty, yet somehow full of terror. Suddenly whispers erupted from every shelf around me. "Trapped. Forever. Let us out." The voices swirling in the air like a rising storm. The voices grew louder, sad and angry, swirling around my head, filling my mind with There are their desperate pleas and sorrowful cries. I covered my ears, but the voices pressed in, relentless, as if the very air was thick with their pain and longing. It dawned on me. The souls weren't wandering the library. They were trapped inside the books themselves, imprisoned for eternity. Each book held a lost soul, their silent screams echoing from the pages, all begging for release, for someone to finally hear them. And now, all those voices, all those trapped souls, were screaming at me, demanding to be set free, or to join them forever. I ran, chased by whispers, deeper into the maze. At the librarian's desk, a single red book waited under the moonlight. My name, Leo, was on the cover. I opened it. The first page, my handwriting, tonight's story, every moment, every fear, written as it happened. I turned to the last page, blank, waiting for the next line. Suddenly, dark drops splattered onto the page. The book was bleeding. Blood oozed from the spine, swirling into words. The book wrote. He saw the book bleeding, and he screamed. I screamed, powerless as the book commanded. My story was being written in blood. The book was alive, and it was writing my fate. I couldn't stop it. The book kept writing, its pages filling with words as blood flowed faster and faster, soaking the ancient paper. Each drop seemed to pulse with a life of its own, as if the book itself was alive and hungry for more stories, more souls. I tried to run, desperate to escape, but the floorboards groaned and held me tight, ancient hands gripping my ankles from below. The harder I struggled, the tighter their grasp became, pulling me closer to the darkness beneath the floor. The whispers grew louder and more urgent, swirling around me like a cold wind. One of us, they chanted, their voices echoing through the shadows, hungry for a new companion. My hands began to crumble, turning to dust that drifted down onto the shelves below. I watched in horror as my fingers disintegrated, the dust settling on the cursed books, becoming part of their endless stories. I was fading away, my body dissolving into mist, becoming part of the library itself. My outline blurred, my form growing less and less real with every passing second. My voice vanished, swallowed by the silence. The book hadn't written that I screamed, so no sound escaped my lips. My terror was trapped inside, unheard and unseen. My body became a shadow, transparent and cold, the chill seeping deep inside and out. I drifted through the aisles, a ghost among the shelves, forever changed. The whispers welcomed me, their pale faces turning toward me. Others who'd found their own books and met the same fate. I was not alone, but I was no longer myself. We were all chapters in the library's endless collection, our faces pressed into the spines, our stories bound forever in the haunted shelves. The last thing I saw was the book, still writing my end in blood, the words twisting and shifting, sealing my fate for all eternity. Leo, the boy who was dared to open the book, became another lost soul, his story now bound in red leather, his face forever trapped behind the cover, a warning to all who enter. On a dark, dusty shelf, a new blank book appeared, its pages empty and waiting for the next curious soul, waiting for you to write the next chapter.